Hello, I'm FBX and this is Q&A Saturday, the weekly series I run on my channel where I answer your questions that have been asked over the past week or so, both on my channel and over Twitter, about things that people have wanted to ask me, mostly about the next update, in this case the Better Together update for Minecraft on the console, but also just about other things, the world and life in general that people have wanted to ask me. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering a bunch of your questions. If you want to ask any that weren't covered by this week's Q&A, make sure you leave them in the comments down below. That's where I read and get most of these questions from for the next week. So with that said, hope you will enjoy this week's Q&A Saturday. Like if you do, because it helps out the channel and lets know you do like the Q&As and want to keep on seeing these every single week on my channel. But let's get straight into the very first question, which comes in from Dr. H-Man Ao Yawa. Is that a real name? They say #Q. Do you think Mojang will ever bring back the rose from 1.6 and under? And the answer to this question is funny. The rose is probably the most beloved thing that really isn't that different to the current thing, but the rose is probably not ever going to come back. Exactly why they got rid of it is still slightly beyond me. It's something sort of the pocket edition and just like weird stuff like that. But will the rose ever come back? The rose will probably never ever come back, but I imagine that there'll eventually be some texture pack where the the poppies or whatever are actually roses instead, and I think that would be a kind of cool nod to it. And that and the rose bush, so yeah, you won't ever see your 1.6 rose. And I get so many questions about this. It's like it shouldn't be so beloved, but apparently people love the rose from 1.6 and below. But yeah, I also want to quickly clarify, because I said Mojang there. Mojang and Mojang, it's the same company. If you're curious as to why some people say Mojang, it's because in Swedish it's a J, and also a lot of languages the J is pronounced like a Y sound, and that's why it's Mojang. But if you want to call it Mojang, you can. They're equally valid. I just say Mojang because it's a little bit easier to say. So anyway, let's just get into the second question, which comes in from the Snake Zero, who says, I'll come back to Minecraft when the 4K update comes out. So let me just clarify two things in response to this, because again, my usual thing here is like, let's help people be logical. So the thing about the 4K update by itself, if you just have an Xbox One or a Switch, which is presumably what you do have, if you want to play 4K on these consoles, or even if you have a 4K TV, which you statistically probably don't, the thing is Minecraft is the worst game for the 4K update alone. Like, the 4K resolution isn't the biggest of deals. What is the biggest of deals is it's going to be the super duper graphics pack. So just keep in mind, what you really want is a graphics pack, not the 4K, because 4K and the graphics can come separately. You can have these super duper graphics even on your phone on a 720p display, or you can have them on your 4K TV, but they're kind of like different things. Keep that in mind, and let's move on to the third question. We're kind of rapid firing through these, by the way, which comes in from Claire McGrew, who says, #Q&A, what will happen with the new version of Minecraft if it turns out to be a total flop? Do you think that the Minecraft developers will go back to Minecraft Console Edition instead of the Bedrock Edition? And also, will I still be able to play Minecraft Xbox One Edition when the Better Together update comes out? So that was a long question, but the simple answer was like, so is there any way the Xbox One Edition will become the primary edition again? And then also, will I be able to play the Xbox One Edition I have right now, even after the Better Together is out? And you will be able to, but it'll be like a secondary version. It's not going to be the primary version of the store, and it won't receive updates, so you can still always play the old version. It's just over time that becomes a weirder and weirder decision, because a lot of what makes Minecraft great is the fact that it's updating over time. That won't happen for the new version. So let's talk about, will it ever be able to go back? Because a lot of people are hanging on this contingency. I don't think that's realistically much of a possibility. When we spoke to them like months ago about this in a phone call, they were like, oh yeah, I guess if enough people want it, we'll put it back on sale. But I think they're always going to keep both versions in tandem. That's the very worst case scenario for them, and I imagine a lot of people are just going to be on board with it, because you got to bear in mind, we as a community, we care about this game, but some people who either mostly play on the phones or their Windows 10 PC anyway, or mostly play on their tablets and then switch over to the Xbox, might just be like, oh, now it looks a bit more like my phone. That's kind of cool, I guess. So we'll have to see how the actual response to it does go, but I imagine they're not ever going to cancel it. They're always going to have that as their primary version from now on, because this one's developed directly by Microsoft, who again owns Minecraft now, and that's in their favor, presumably. So yeah, this new version is going to be the universal version, and it's going to be the primary version for quite some time. Let's move on to the fourth question though, which comes in from Casey, who says, #cute, do you think the Better Together update will affect people that only play single player? The whole selling point is kind of defeated when there's no one to be better together with. And the simple answer to this question is it will affect you, because you won't be able to play the old versions, and I think you're going to be in this really weird kind of you have to pick features you want or not. So you can stick to your current Minecraft Xbox One world for as long as you like, I believe, but eventually you got to bear in mind that that updates thing is going to get to you, and if you switch to the new version, you'll lose a lot of survival features, but you gain infinite worlds. So it's really the trade-off you have to decide. If you don't care about multiplayer in the slightest, the only thing that varies of the new versions, it's for survival players in single player, is oh yeah, well now we get infinite worlds and we get some slight changes to a few mechanics in the game, but in exchange you lose furnace minecarts, you lose amplified, and you lose a few other tiny things like that, the way the maps work, the coordinate system. And I think because of that, it's kind of just for survival single player players, which I think is a decent number of people, it's not the majority, but there's a decent number of you out there. I think this is one of those updates where you just kind of shrug your shoulders and just go, oh, I guess something happened and that's new. I don't think it's like too much good or too much bad, which is interesting to say, but that's kind of how it is. It's like, oh yeah, you lose a little bit, you gain a little bit, and most of the benefits and most of the losses aren't there if all you care about is survival single player. So let's move on to the fifth question, which comes in from Ender Stranger, who says, hashtag Q&A, why do people hate PE textures even though they are the same? And I think the truth behind this one, you know, like I'd love to say like, oh, well, it's really because the PE textures are just this much worse. But even though I feel like a part of this might be true for me, I think what it is for most people is it's just different. You know, like you've been playing this Minecraft that has these textures for this time, and then they're all going to switch a little bit, and it's like, oh, that's different. And then also a few of them just look objectively worse. So for instance, have you seen water on the Pocket Edition? It just looks less smooth, for instance. I think lava looks better, but you know, there's a lot of like upgrades, downgrades, but I think the fact that it's different is the big deal, and the fact that it looks exactly the same as it does in a phone, I think those are the big things that affect people. It's not that they're worse in any way, and if people are telling you that the textures are the worst thing, that's not the big deal in this update, and I want to clarify that 100 times. The big deal that I care about, and that I think you should care about if you care about this transition at all, is the features that we're losing from the current console version. I think they're the things we care about way more than the textures. The textures are just like, you have to get used to that like once or twice, and things are going to look different, but I think the bigger deal is going to be the features we're losing. So let's move on to the sixth question, which comes in from Landon's mother, who says, hashtag Q&A. I know hashtag does nothing on YouTube, so Kat, what's your favorite month of the year? And also, what are you going to do when the Better Together update comes out for the Xbox One? So, what is my favorite month of the year? So, everyone seems to love summer. Like, okay, so I fly a decent amount. Summer flights are always full because people always want to like go do crazy stuff in summer, even though it's like painfully hot. And like, I hate hot weather. I hate the like summer months basically, like July through to like August, or like June through to August. They're all just painful months. I don't like those ones. But the months I do like are stuff like, oh yeah, I love me in November, October, maybe December, January. I think actually, you know, December's a good month, but it has Christmas in it, and Christmas is really cool until you're maybe like, let's call it 18 years old, and you have to start getting gifts for people, because when you have to get gifts, it's the most stressful thing in the world. It like hangs over you all month. That's the worst thing in the world. So November is my favorite month because you can get snow, you can go skiing, it's like pretty cold, so you can warm up by just putting on clothes, but if you want to cool down, oh yeah, just take off the clothes. Like, it's as easy as that, and yeah, I'd say November's gonna be one of my favorite months. It's a solid month of the year. So yeah, with that said, also, when we're going to do when the update comes out for the Xbox One, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to make videos on it, and you'll see that on this YouTube channel. So let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Jake Riley, who says, what is your favorite Zelda game? My favorite Zelda game is probably the Wind Waker. I mean, like, it varies a lot from, like, I feel like the best one might be the new one, but also the worst one in some ways. But my favorite Legend of Zelda game has to be the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. So this came out for the GameCube. It was it was my like birthday gift a while back. I got it this and like the Ocarina of Time. So I played my very first Legend of Zelda experience was Wind Waker, and this is why you love it a little bit. Like, everyone loves their first game, but I love this game because it felt like it was this endless like thing to explore. Like the same reason that I love Minecraft, I guess you could say. The fact that it just feels like there's no end to like islands to check out and this and that and things to find. Like, you can just find quarter hearts like everywhere. I really loved the endlessness of the Wind Waker, and I feel like any game that can simulate this feeling of like, you can walk in this direction for as long as you like, and there'll be stuff there, real stuff to enjoy. You can walk in this direction or that direction. I feel like that feeling is one of my favorite things to get from a video game, and that's why I love the Wind Waker for the GameCube. And I played the Wind Waker HD all the way through, and I beat it for the first time. It was a pretty cool feeling recently. So yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Logan Rasmussen, who says, hashtag Q&A, what do you think, what do you think of Minecon Earth? So simple answer to this question is Minecon Earth. So I never made a video on this one. Maybe I should have. I think I was like gone at the time. But Minecon Earth is going to be Minecon 2017, but instead of being set in a physical location where you can go and you can do stuff, Minecon Earth is going to be a live stream. So on the one hand, the way they said this was like, Minecraft is meant to be for everyone, and Minecon was only for like 13,000 people, and like, you know, there was way more demand for tickets than they had tickets, and it was expensive, and you had to fly around the world, and they figured like, rather than doing that, because you know, there's a lot of issues there they could have fixed, they decided to turn it into a live stream where anyone can watch anytime. And although this sounds really good on paper, like, yeah, what if Minecon was able to be attended by anyone and everyone? Like, it's a really cool idea. When you realize that it's a live stream, that's just not Minecon. Like, they've replaced Minecon with something that isn't Minecon and then called it Minecon. Because Minecon Earth is going to be a fun live stream. We're going to see announcements about the game, presumably, from Jeb, etc. We're going to see some cool stuff on this live stream, but it's not going to be Minecon. There's not going to be capes. There's not going to be, like, the opportunity to meet your favorite YouTuber. There's not going to be the opportunity for me to meet some of my fans. That's not going to be there because it's a live stream. So, yeah, what I think of Minecon Earth, I think it's kind of like, I feel like it's a cool idea idea, but the fact that it took the Minecon branding is kind of just cheating in my opinion. Like, it's not Minecon in the slightest. They've renamed, you know, a lot of the, you know, non-official Minecraft events to be Minecraft official events now, so I'll go to a couple of those a year, I guess, instead. But it's just one of these things where it's like, why do we not think words have meaning, or like, you know, names have meaning in like this year? Because Minecon is clearly a convention that happens every year. It's happened for 6 years. This isn't going to be a Minecon. No one's going to be like, oh yeah, there was 6 years of physical Minecon, then there was the digital year, and then there's another digital year, whatever. This just isn't really Minecon, and I wish they'd just call it Mindstream or like official because it wouldn't have done that well if it didn't have the branding. They're stealing the branding to do it for something else. I feel like you could have had Minecon and you could have had this, but they're kind of cancelling Minecon and turning it into a live stream, which is what I don't like about it, but that's my simple thoughts on it, and that's why I'm kind of bummed. But you know, I'm a YouTuber. Like, I could go to this thing, I could afford to spend like $100 and like whatever dollars it wasn't a ticket, and that's not most people, so I think for most people this is better. I just think Minecon's a bit of a misleading name for it because it has none of the things that people expect from Minecon besides, like, I guess the stage shows that you can watch, and although there's going to be like some physical things we can go to, so in London there's going to be something, if you live near London or in the UK or you go into London, there's some physical event you can go to watch it live with YouTubers, which I think I was invited to, but maybe not anymore. I don't know for certain. But yeah, there's everything I think about Minecon Earth. Like, it's not Minecon, but it's called Minecon, so I guess now it's Minecon, even though it's not Minecon. Okay, I've said Minecon enough terms that it's now like lost all your stuff. Let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Chloe on Twitter, who says, do you believe in any conspiracy theories? And this is one of my favorite questions to ask people. It's a fun one if you want to like kind of lure out the crazy in people, because I feel like everyone, you know, if someone believes in every conspiracy theory, then they're a crazy person. But everyone, you know, even the logical people, the people that like you can actually understand and they're not crazy, I think everyone believes in like a conspiracy theory, and the one where I'm most like, something went wrong there, is the JFK assassination, because you know, he's a president of the United States. He got shot, but he got shot like twice in a row, and then like there's a lot of really suspicious stuff, like his killer or like his supposed killer got shot before he could say anything about it, and then the person who shot the person who killed JFK got like had a heart attack in prison or something. It's like a really suspicious like chain of events, and a part of me goes, something could be up there. I mean, it does make sense. The powers might want to change stuff around there, and they probably could make that happen. But then a part of me says like, it's probably not. But yeah, I feel like everyone has their own one. Like, I spoke to my cousin recently, and she was like, you know, 9/11, this, that, and it's a good way to like see someone's like, you know, what people think about stuff. And if there's like one takeaway from this question, other than the fact that Toycat thinks that the whole like JFK assassination was a conspiracy, is that I feel, or like it could have been, I guess. I feel like it could be either way, because I'm just not certain, like I am with a lot of other stuff. But I feel like it's a good question to ask, and that's my pro tip for everyone watching right now. So let's move on to the last question, which comes in from Kevin, and this is a big one, but it's kind of an important one, because he says, Toycat, it seems that in this transition period is going to be quite rough. It seems we'll lose a lot of cool features that are on the current console edition, but not in the Pocket edition. My question is, do you think this downgrade in features in certain aspects will only be temporarily, you know, through this transition phase, or do you think it's a permanent loss? Do you think we'll get updates, they'll make it more like the console edition, and it will be equally or eventually better than its predecessor, or it will always be the case of, oh, do you remember this or that feature? That was a cool thing, I wish they added to this version. So this is a really important one, because there is a beta coming out very soon, as I've clarified in a previous video, but there's a beta coming out very, very soon, and this is our opportunity to have our voices as a community heard, because inside this, you know, inside this brand new version of Minecraft, inside the Better Together beta, there is going to be a feedback option where you can send stuff directly to someone at Mojang, and I think, you know, clearly they've shown that they don't want to listen to YouTubers in the form of me or anyone else that's made a video. It seems they haven't listened or responded to any of the things I've said, like, why don't we just, like, either wait until we have the new features, or, like, why don't they guarantee they'll put them in there, or why don't we update the old version until there's new features? None of that's been listened to by anything I've said, but I think this is your opportunity to say, you know, this is a cool version, but we want the new features. Like, I feel like, you know, like, this version's really great, but it's missing this or that I'm used to. I feel like if everyone actually does care and everyone actually does let them know, that's the only way we can make a change like this actually happen. So yeah, I feel like, you know, the permanent loss thing is probably unlikely. I think at some point all these features will come, because they're PC features, which means they'll eventually be coming over, but I think it'll take a a long time, because what I'd like to see is them to just say, oh yeah, this is the Better Together update, 1.3 is the, you know, catching up with console update, they'd give it a catchy name, but I feel like if they did that and they made it so the next update would be new stuff as well as all the stuff we're missing, that would be pretty great. Whereas, you know, how it is right now, we might have to wait like years until Amplified comes to this brand new version. We might have to wait. There's never going to be these old mini games that people love, for instance. I feel like what they should do is they should try and, you know, guarantee as many of these features are going to come at some point or are going to come in the next update or something like that, because that would be the best way. And again, what we have to do is you have to make your voices heard to them, because my voice, again, like either they don't care or they don't listen, or because of the whole like controversy over like them assuming that I send people to go threaten them or something. I have no idea what it is, but like clearly, you know, the YouTuber voice is just like, well, there's a lot of those, they can just ignore one or the other, but you are the people playing the game, and it's up to you when the, you know, the beta feedback comes in to say, no, all these features are missing and we'd like to see them. Why can't you guarantee that? That should be your priority, because you know, like, this version's great besides those. I feel like that's the thing we have to say, and if we can get that, you know, if they listen to your voices, if they make announcements about that, then suddenly we'll have a version of the game that's objectively better. We could have this giant upgrade, and that's something I'm excited about the idea of, but whether it happens or not really depends on whether, you know, either like one, whether people do it, and two, whether they listen to that or not, which, you know, you'd hope they would, because Minecraft should be about the players, and hopefully you can all prove that as a community we can make this happen. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully, you know, Q&A Saturday is a fun thing. I'm going to Gamescom on Tuesday, and then maybe a bit of Wednesday, so if you're in Cologne, Germany, then you might see an IBX Toycat nearby you. And also, the update looks like it's coming out when I'm there, so like, I'll make a video letting you know, but it might take me a day or two to like stream it or to make videos on it or whatever. Just keep in mind that this next week is very likely, because everyone's like stressed about seeing it out there. But yeah, with that said, hope you will enjoy the video, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.